Welcome back, everybody. And today we're going to be starting a new series on the channel called Freestyle Design. So, what it is basically we're going to pick out any topic. Okay, each week we're going to pick out one topic, and based on that topic, we're going to be creating a full hero section, or maybe we can go a bit more and design a landing page for that topic. So, for example, today's topic is gradient and lines, and we're going to be using those two concepts as our primary accents for our website, and be creating a cool website. So if you're interested, subscribe so you don't miss the next topic. Okay, first we're going to start by creating a desktop. I'm just going to say gradient and lines desktop. Okay, so we're going to be starting from the background. I'm thinking to create a white background. Let's start here and see where that takes us. Uh, So let's start from the navbar. We will need a logo, obviously. So I'm gonna keep with the line uh, topic, and I'm just gonna give basic arrow sort of. Okay, let's make this bit wider. Okay, let's give it some weight here. Okay, then I'm gonna duplicate this and place it right here. Then let's just group it into our logo. So first we have to outline stroke, and after we outline stroke, let's change some colors. So I'm thinking since we are going with a gradient style, we want to use vibrant colors. So why not this blue and maybe a yellow here would work to accent the blue, or maybe we go for more of a green. Not sure, quite sure, but okay. I'm thinking we can stick to the yellow, but be a more visible one. Okay, that looks great. Then what we want to do is we want to flatten our logo and just make it small. Okay, that looks nice. Obviously, if you want the design file today, I'm going to leave it down below in the description so you can check it out. Let's give it our name. Gradient. G-A-L. Gradient and lines. 16 pixels is what I typically go with. Semi-bold works fine here. And let's reduce the size even more to around 20, 20, 24, maybe 24. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to rename this the logo. Then we just shift A, and this is our identity, which is what website we're on currently. So let's central line everything, and we are done. Next, let's create our nav links. Uh, Nav links are very simple. We're gonna have around four. Obviously, we need a home. I'm just gonna give it 14 pixel and regular. I'm using enter, by the way. Home. Let's go with an about section or page. Products, services. Let's add one more, which is contact. Okay. So we can just group everything here. Okay, and let's have content. Give it some spacing in between them. Maybe 40 pixels here works fine. Yeah, I like 40 pixels here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the home. Let's rename this frame, by the way, links. Select the home and add sort of an underline to it. We don't want it to be that thick, so we're just gonna reduce the underline size. Maybe 3, maybe 2. I'm gonna go with 2 for now. and I'm gonna make the edges rounded. Also, I'm gonna use our primary color, one of these colors. Uh, we can actually go with a gradient here. Let's introduce the gradient. Does these two mix? No, they doesn't. They don't actually. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go with a lighter blue here, and this will be our indicator. Now, obviously, we have to give this accent a connection to the actual home uh, text. So we're gonna group them into a frame called active, since that it is the active link, since we are assuming that we are on the home page here. Then we can place it at the center. Uh, okay, active. Then at the bottom. Okay, let's just take it here. That looks nice. Okay, can reduce the width just a bit to 40 pixels. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay. We obviously want this to hide content, so meaning we have to translate it back to the center. And let's give it some space. How much space do we need? You can select the icon and give it around 2. Okay, how do we make this more interesting? First, I would like to make it a bit more bigger, and let's reduce its size and central align it. Let's reduce its size even more, I think. Around gonna go with around 16, and let's central align it. Okay, that looks great. That just adds a bit of interest to the overall design. We're gonna change the color into either the blue or yellow, which doesn't really look visible. So we're gonna stick with the blue. And now we have all of our links in place. I would also like to make this a bit more interesting by introducing the color yellow, maybe not a stroke, but actually we can have the yellow here, but I don't think it's as visible. So we're gonna introduce the blue again, and we're just gonna select the S and make it yellow, since we don't really want the S to stand out. Okay, that's looking great. Then let's make our logo actually just a bit more interesting. We're gonna give the blue a gradient from this blue to the blue which we've been using, which is the lighter shade, and we're gonna do the same to the yellow, a gradient, and into the lighter shade here. Just a subtle gradient that makes the design look that bit more interesting. Also, I don't like how this is too much contrasting, so I'm just gonna reduce the contrast of the text here, and that looks good. Okay, then we need a call to action. What would our call to action be? Very simply, we need a sign up and sign in button. Sign up, a single word actually, which is 16 pixels semi bold. And since this is our primary button, let's give it 32 by 16 and a blue fill with white text. Let's reduce this size actually to 12 and this size to 24. And let's go with an 8 pixel corner radius. That looks nice. Just very simple. Also, instead of having a solid color, we can introduce gradients. Just a subtle gradient, but makes all the difference. Let's now change this color to be solid. the yellow. I don't think the gradient works here as much, so I'm just going to keep it solid and say login. Let's make sure the text color is actually black, since that that has more contrast. And I'm actually going to keep with the design style we chose so far, and I'm just going to go with the lighter shade. And that means we can maybe experiment with it here to experiment with it and apply the lighter shade of yellow, which is some place around here. Okay, now our design looks a whole lot more interesting. What we can do is we can name this CTA, which stands for call to action, and let's group them. 16 pixel gap side by side. Let's give hot content for this. Let's make this CTA hot content width. Finally, we're going to name this call to actions. And we have everything we need for our navbar. Okay, so let's try to group everything and left horizontally align them in the center hot content. Okay, and let's give ourselves actually a grid of columns 12 just to see how where we could place everything. Okay, if we drag it out and give it an auto placement. Okay, obviously we can just remove this and try to fix everything here in the nav bar. The first part, the identity, I think works. The links, okay, it is not having correct width, so I'm just gonna say hot content, and that should fix it. So this is our navbar. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna center align it and top align it. Then we're gonna give a vertical 60 pixel padding, and that's it. Completed. Okay, so what about the hero section? Okay, so I've been working on a design lately, and I want to share that with you here. What we can do, uh, what we can do here actually is just start with the headline. Uh, okay, let's say we sell the base gradients and lines out there, something like that. Let's make this bigger, maybe 48 pixels, semi-bold, and yeah, so obviously we want to emphasize best gradients and lines here. So how can we emphasize that in relation to our topic? Very easy, we can either add gradients or we can add lines. So for the best gradients, I'm just going to say gradient, not throughout. Okay, okay, so I want a gradient from the blue to this off blue, okay, which is following our design trend, and we need a line for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a line. So obviously, since we chose gradients and lines, which is something colorful and more interesting, throughout the design we're using more color than usual. Okay. Okay, then let's make this the yellow color, just to contrast. Just this yellow and blue still doesn't work, does it? Okay. It's subtle gradient, but it works. Okay, so what we can do here is we can just place this here. Okay, then group everything here. Let's call this accent. Then group everything here into Control G into headline. Headline. Then we need a subheadline. Uh, Valve is a freestyle website that aims to better understand. Let me actually drag this down. Better understand web development. Sorry, web design. Uh, Web design accents by experimentation. Through, we can say, through experimentation. And finally, we can reduce the size of this to 14 instead of semi-bold. You can say regular. Can give this the darker shade. Okay, darker shade here. It doesn't really need to be too much contrasting. It's visible enough, I would say. We can actually just select everything here, and let's select this color and make it just a bit darker actually. Not full black, just a bit darker. Okay, great. Okay, so we can have it like this, and we can group it and call it content. So we can say actually it's copyright. It's copyright. Then 24 actually works fine here. 24 pixel gap. Then what we want to do next is we want a call to action more interesting than this one. So how are we gonna make that? Uh, Easiest way, let's just duplicate this button first. And let's add an icon to it, a line actually. Not that, but instead control, was it Shift L? Okay, it's Shift L. Then we can make this arrow smaller, give it a rounded edge, 2 weight. Maybe you can go more. Okay, 2 does work. We can give it a white fill. Let's go name it accent. Then into the CTA it goes. Okay, so just give it a gap here. 16, no, too much. 8 or 6. 6 I think works fine here. And I want it to be small. So just by doing that, it's a bit more interesting. Uh, yeah, okay. So let's actually decrease its size here, 8. And I like this sort of short indicator. Then we can duplicate this into a video. Actually, we can say we can provide an explainer video. And instead of this icon here, we can create sort of a simple video icon. I'm just gonna go 8 pixels by 8 pixels here, give it just a bit of corner radius. Let's make it black for now. And let's create a triangle here first, polygon. Let's flatten it out. Just give it again a bit of border radius. 0.5 here works fine, I think. I'm gonna go minus 90 degrees. Actually, it should be 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Then I'm gonna place it at the center of this. Okay. Then we're gonna group everything. Let's make everything black. And here we have a very simple outline stroke, flatten, a very simple icon, so a video icon. We can control X to cut and control Shift R to paste and replace. I'm gonna go with 12 pixel, sorry, okay, 8 pixel Maybe that's too small. 10 pixel or 12 pixel. So can we go 12 pixel width, which is a bit too small though. 12 pixel height. I think that works. And let's go full whites here. Uh, and that is, we can actually bring this back, explain our video. Then finally, we don't want it to have as much contrast. So either we could try to use our yellow gradients uh, with the black text here. So you can see that there's sort of like an old vibe which has disappeared lately, where there is like a lighter part of the button at the bottom of the button. So maybe that's like a cool aesthetic that comes with the topic here. So we can Shift A, group them into an auto layout frame. We can give it a name, call to actions or CTAs, 16 pixel gap as usual. Okay. Okay. Then, well, can we actually use a different, like, can we go with italic? Can we go with italic? Does it look better? So I'm actually just thinking of everything as we're working, so I'm not sure. I'm just gonna keep it regular for now, but that's something we could take a look at in the future. So we can take everything, Shift A, group them, and let's name this content, the actual content of the hero section. Then a gap of 32 maybe. What can we do next? What I'm thinking is let's place this first appropriately. Just indent it a bit into one of our grid lines. Then we can have, I think we could have sort of a carousel of different sort of icons and gradients. Actually a mix. So maybe we can create a gradient here from top to bottom. Add this sort of gradients. Here we can actually go with the darker, or we can experiment. Experiment. Mm, I think that can mix. Uh, okay, so what I'm thinking is actually using mask layers. So we can sort of create different sort of icons, line icons. For example, let's try to use this. Okay, so we can create a line icon such as this, and we can give this a gradient. And let's make this, we can make this bigger. And like we can use sort of these sort of accents in our design. Like I'm not going to use this one, but you get the point. Like I want to use sort of this kind of idea. So what could work? It's about experimentation. It's about trying out different things until you get one of them right. Okay, let's just try something else. See how it fits. Hmm. Okay, so let's actually give the website meaning. Maybe this website is an art piece, like collection a website where people can look at different art pieces. So that's just something I created in my mind right now. So what if we provide the user with some of the most popular art pieces in a like scrolling carousel here, like different art pieces moving along horizontally. Okay, what do we need? We need an image here, obviously, 8 pixel corner radius. I'm gonna fill this out later. We need an art piece, so the gradients and the lines. Maybe that's the name of the art piece here. Let's make this a bit bigger, 20 pixels, semi-bold. Okay, it's smaller. Now we want to create a description for it, 14 pixels, created in 2025 as part of the design freestyle challenge. Okay, a bit of a description. Then I want to provide like a button here, say learn more. Maybe if the user wants to see the design more in depth, we can use that button. So we can call this button our call to action. 0 pixel gap and 16 by 16 padding, but like it's 32 padding. And maybe we can give it a stroke here instead. Lighter stroke. Okay, a lighter stroke. Maybe the image for this could be just a simple radial gradient. So from the yellow to the blue, and why can't we? Let's add one more color here. Okay, let's call this like the image. Then we can take everything else. Like let's take this content first. Let's call this the content or the information. You can name it whatever you want. 16 pixel gap. Okay, then let's take this and let's just say main, since it's the main like body of the card. And overall, it's going to name this card. Give it 24 pixel gap. Here should be 24 to let's reduce this actually, maybe 20. Okay, so gap padding actually 16 by 16, and we will need a stroke, which is the same color we used before. Okay, 8 pixel corner radius, meaning this button now I would give it 6 pixel corner radius. Okay, width would be hard content, and the button would actually fill the container. So now okay, I think this doesn't have enough contrast in the actual border, so I'm just gonna give it some more. Okay. Okay, so if we have this card, let's name this our image. If we have this card, we can just duplicate it a couple of times, like to showcase some of our gradients. So 24, maybe that would be good enough with 24. Okay, let's actually reduce the size of the window here. Let's central line everything. It's the scrolling, so it would be cut off at the end. Okay. Uh, then what? Then we can maybe try to add lines to make it interesting. So, okay, let's actually make this bit about 16, maybe it would work. Okay, 16 seems like the perfect width. Can we go and make this like a pointing arrow? More of a line here. Okay, let's just change the direction. And let's make the color the combination of the blues. Okay. Okay, let's try some interesting stuff. This is just about experimentation. When you're working with a design that you're just starting out on, you have to see what works and what doesn't. And sometimes stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. So if it doesn't, you can just remove it. Like it's not something already decided on. Uh, okay. So what if we just try to use a line as an accent here? Just a couple of lines here. One zigzag line there. Let's create some variations first. Spiral, sort of. Uh, some variations. After creating that, maybe we can reduce its size. First we have to outline stroke and reduce its size and dot them out inside the website. So we can select all of these here, right click, outline stroke, reduce their sizes and sparkle them in. Okay, it's already outlined stroke. Let's reduce the size of this one as well. Okay, so now can we just duplicate them, place them throughout the website? Does this look cool or not? Is my question. If we just drag them all throughout. Okay, I don't think that works. I think there's a feeling more of cluttered than a cool aspect to it. So instead, I'm having another idea. Why can't we use a background, sort of a background pattern here, where we just duplicate these here. Okay, we can take all of these, Control G as the pattern base. Then we can go over and okay, just duplicate them making sure they stay inside. Okay, don't worry, it won't stay like this. Then we can go Control G and say pattern. We can take them to the back, and instead of having high contrast, what we can do is we can go over and give the background here, maybe we can give it a blue color, which is too much, I think. Okay, what if instead we change, okay, let's rename this cards actually. What if we make this low contrast? So maybe opacity 2%, and let's raise it. Okay. Obviously, we have to go over to all of the cards and give them a fill, a white fill. So does this work? Is my question now. Does this work? Maybe we need to decrease the contrast just a bit more. Okay. Can we try central aligning this? So if you want to see like is it good or bad, just remove it and add it back. Okay, I see potential, but I still don't like it that much. What we can do here is can we change the blue to yellow? Can we make every color here solid instead? Can we make them solid colors? Solid yellow. Okay, can we change the yellow back to the blue? Is this better? I'm seeing a bit of improvement, but we can do even more. Okay, can we go gray? Is it better for the background? We go gray and reduce its opacity. Or can we, is there a way we can increase the opacity? I don't think so. Okay, I'm just gonna go with the blue. Can the purple works? The purple has potential. Okay. I think the purple makes the design just a bit more interesting. So sometimes it's a matter of opinion. So does it work or does it not? So I'm just gonna use these two as comparison. So which one works better? This one is more minimal, and this one focuses more on the gradient and lines aspects. So if we go and decide minimal, how can we make this just a bit more interesting? So it's about lines, right? So can we add like a grid line here? Obviously low contrast. So let's add this here. Call this line. And let's try to make this less visible. Let's go with a 1 pixel here and make it less visible. Then let's try to make it dotted instead of solid. Okay, can we give it just a bit more contrast? Can we go to the blue and reduce its contrast here? Okay, so if we have something like this, can we just duplicate this? Okay, can we, okay, actually, can we collect the lines here into some sort of pattern, background pattern? Okay, can we, I think we should decrease the visibility just a bit. But I do like that. Okay, I do like that more than this one. So I do like this. We can actually make it even more, can let it stand out even more. Let's actually completely remove the pattern here. Let's make this just a bit more visible. Can we make this a gradient? Actually, which is something I think. Can we make this gradient of, does this work? Okay, it has potential again. So since it has potential, can we just make it work just a bit more? I do like that. I like that more than this. This looks messy now in comparison. So you see what I did? I just duplicated out my design, tried something different, compared them, and I decided I like this more than that. So now we can collect the content here into the hero section. Now bar hero section, this will be line, which is the accent. Okay, great. So just by picking out some topic, we created this cool looking, interesting sort of uh, website design. So even if I go and change like the placement here, I think we can end up with a more interesting sort of website, just because of the differences. We can change one color to be another. We can play around with it here too. Okay, the final one. Let's change the blue actually to a lime color. Okay, I don't really like that one, so I'm just gonna change the position. Okay, so now we have a really cool website here. We started from nothing, we introduced concepts slowly, but at the end, it ends up being looking pretty cool, I think. Uh, yeah, okay, let's make this fill the container all throughout. I'm just going through the design and trying to fix as much as possible. Sources are here too, and finally, let's do this. Okay, so we end up here. Thanks for watching again. If you would like private mentorship to increase the speed at which you are learning UI UX design to become better at no time. My Twitter DMs or X DMs are always open. You can take the handle from the description down below. I'm gonna leave the link to this design file in the description too, so you can get all of that and learn, try, experiment after copying it, of course. We're going to be using this design file a lot. So, yeah, thanks for watching again. Really hope you enjoyed. Until next time, goodbye.